This meeting is being recorded.
Greetings. My name is Hilla Strombringer, and I would like to share a tale to you, for you, with you. There we go. So, hi, my name is Hilla Strombringer, and verbs are not my thing today. I would like to share with you, that's not even a verb, that's a preposition, which is even better. So, I would like to share with you a tale that comes from a faraway land. The version of this story that I have been told is from Japan. However, it is known throughout many countries, many civilizations throughout the world. But this is the tale of the two monks. And there is a lesson to it, but we will get to that at the end. Upon a time, there were two monks who lived in a monastery. And they were traveling from one monastery to a temple, as often happens. It was spring, and they were walking through the woods. The trees and the bushes and all the foliage were quite green and lush, for it had been raining mightily for the past week. And finally, just now, the path was dry enough for them to walk upon. So imagine, if you will, the soft sound of the wind through the leaves, the beautiful noises of birds chirping, little crackles of animals skittering to and fro, and the warm, dappled sunlight shimmering down through the waving leaves. Two brown-clad monks walking along the path, their sandals making hardly any sound, and they, both of them, the elder and the student, very comfortably sharing this space. As they came closer to the river, however, they heard sobbing. And what did they see? The bridge across the river had been washed away. Now, this was a terrible thing, but not unexpected, for this was the forest in the spring and the rains had been mighty. But there on the banks of the river was a beautiful maiden dressed in a flowing silk kimono. And she was sobbing her heart out. Her face was as wet as the river itself. Now, these two monks were of an order that were not supposed to talk to women. They were not supposed to have knowledge of women. They were not even supposed to look at women. And so the younger monk, knowing well these rules, carefully turned his head away. But the older monk said, "Young maiden, why? Why are you crying so?" And she says, Oh, Sensei, I'm so sorry, but I need to get to my village across the river, and I'm supposed to be going to a wedding, but I don't know how to swim, and even if I do manage to get across without drowning, my dress will be ruined. I will be a shame and dishonor upon my family. I don't know what to do. And yet, if I do not get there, I also will bring shame and dishonor to my family. The old monk just smiled and nodded his head. And then he gently lifted her up, set her upon his shoulders, and carried her across the raging river. All the way across he carried her, so that she did not get one drop of water upon her, and he set her down upon the other shore. And then he carefully waded across the river, shook the water out of his robes, made sure that he was standing in the sunlight, and then nodded to the younger monk. And they continued along their way. Now, while before, the silence between them had been light and airy and companionable, and they had been present in their enjoyment of the forest, this time the silence hung heavy like drapes, no, even like thick cobwebs that are made across trees, bending them down. This was a dark silence. And yet the older monk kept his peace until they were in sight of the temple, and then he stopped and he looked at the younger monk questioningly. Younger monk had also held his silence out of respect for his elder, and yet finally his face, cloudy as the sky had been in the past several weeks, finally just exploded. I don't understand, teacher, I don't understand. You know the rules, you know our vows. You're not supposed to touch women. Why did you carry her across the river? And the old monk tilted his head, and he smiled, and he said, "Oh, brother, brother, I set her down across the river hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" And that is the story of the two monks.